by 2036, Earth's population had surged beyond its capacity, leading to severe resource shortages and environmental devastation. Desperate to find an alternative, scientists turned their attention to Mars. Over 2 decades, they deployed probes carrying bioengineered raspberry seeds, hoping to create an oxygen-rich atmosphere. At first, the plan worked, with oxygen levels rising steadily. But unexpectedly, the levels began to decline. Determined to investigate, a team of top scientists was dispatched to Mars. Among them was Alice, a renowned biologist and mission commander, accompanied by her colleagues and Pathfinder, an advanced robotic dog. As their spacecraft separated from the space station, hope filled the hearts of the crew. After more than 6 months of interstellar travel, they reached Mars and identified a landing site. But just as they prepared to descend, a fierce solar storm battered their spacecraft. Gamma rays caused critical system failures. Acting quickly, Bali, the team's chief engineer, urged everyone into the landing module, sacrificing himself to ensure their escape. However, the storm had damaged the module's navigation, forcing them to pilot manually. The robotic dog, Pathfinder, was discarded along with the landing platform, and the crew braced for impact. The module crashed near the edge of a canyon, tumbling down a rocky slope before coming to a halt. Stunned but alive, the remaining crew found themselves stranded, far from their intended landing zone. Their only hope was the bioengineering laboratory, which held oxygen but no food. One crew member was gravely injured in the landing and had to be left behind. The remaining 4 pressed on, but an eerie discovery unsettled them: the algae cultivated for decades had vanished. As their oxygen dwindled, they collapsed on the ground, resigned to their fate. Peter, the first to run out, gasped for breath and instinctively removed his helmet, fully expecting death. To his astonishment, he could breathe. One by one, the others hesitantly followed suit. The air was thin but breathable, contradicting all their prior data. With newfound hope, they attempted to contact Ellie on the orbiting Mars 1, but the ship's systems were critically damaged. Night fell, bringing deadly cold. Desperate for warmth, they ignited the remnants of an abandoned outpost. Meanwhile, in the distance, Pathfinder stirred. When the robotic dog finally located them, Peter attempted to extract its energy core, triggering its combat mode. The mechanical beast attacked with brutal efficiency, injuring Bowen before retreating. Realizing they were now hunted, the team pushed forward in haste. Using parts from an old probe, they finally re-established contact with Ellie. She delivered grim news: the Mars 1 spacecraft could not send a rescue pod due to fuel shortages and radiation damage. Their only option was to reach an old lunar module, abandoned 30 years ago, 100 kilometers away. With only 19 hours before Mars 1 would be forced to return to Earth, time was against them. Their journey was soon interrupted by a Martian storm, plunging temperatures to -50 degrees Celsius. They took refuge in a cave as Pathfinder prowled outside. During the storm, Peter revealed a devastating truth: the lunar module could only carry 2 people. He volunteered to stay behind and buy time. But Jerry, driven by selfish ambition, had other plans. He stole the radio and abandoned the group. His betrayal was short-lived: the robotic dog found and eliminated him. When Peter and Bowen located Jerry's body, they made a shocking discovery. Around him wriggled thousands of nematodes, alien worms that had likely consumed the algae and were now producing oxygen. Excited by their discovery, Bowen collected a sample. But as he did, the creatures bit through his suit, attracted to the scent of blood. Swarmed by the creatures, Bowen sacrificed himself, using his last moments to ignite the worms in a fiery explosion. The blast temporarily depleted the surrounding oxygen, nearly killing Peter. Now alone, Peter pressed on, eventually reaching the lunar module. Ellie guided her from orbit, but the lander's ignition system had long since failed. Defeated, Peter used the radio to confess his feelings to Ellie, knowing it might be their final conversation. As Mars One prepared to leave, they lost contact. Peter was ready to accept his fate when the drone released by Pathfinder arrived. An idea struck him, perhaps the robotic dog carried the high-pressure battery he needed. With a last surge of determination, Peter set a trap. When Pathfinder attacked, it triggered the explosive charge, destroying itself and the drone. From the wreckage, Peter salvaged the battery and reignited the lander. The module launched, but halfway through ascent, it lost power. Drifting helplessly in the void, Peter succumbed to exhaustion. But Mars One detected the powerless craft, and Alice, defying protocol, donned a spacesuit and used a tethered cable to reach Peter's craft. With a final burst of strength, she pulled him aboard. Now, the only survivors of their mission, Alice and Peter, left Mars behind, forever changed by their harrowing journey. As they drifted toward Earth, Peter and Alice reflected on all they had lost, and all they had learned. The algae were gone, but life had taken root on Mars in an unexpected form. The discovery of nematodes capable of producing oxygen would reshape humanity's understanding of extraterrestrial survival. Though their mission had nearly ended in tragedy, they had unknowingly taken the first step toward making Mars a new home. The Red Planet had tested them, nearly claimed them. But in the end, against all odds, they had survived.